Cole stood over the body of his latest target. Purple blood pooled under the corpse, staining the metal floor of the abandoned space station. He clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. This was his 57th kill, and it had been almost too easy. The great Lorchan trader reduced to nothing, he said, his voice a low rumble. He took a small device from his belt and pressed it against the dead alien's neck. The device beeped, confirming the kill and sending the proof to his employer. Cole was the most feared bounty hunter in 3 star systems. His 4 arms, each ending in sharp claws, made him excellent at his job. The exoskeleton covering his body was tough enough to stop most weapons. His species, the Kravaki, were natural hunters, but Cole was special even among his kind. He never failed a job. He tapped his communication device. "Extraction," he said simply. His ship would arrive soon to pick him up. As Cole waited, he checked the news feeds on his wrist computer. Something caught his attention. The Galactic Council had made contact with a new species. This happened every few years, but something about this report was different. Class 5 Deathworld inhabitants, the report said. Cole's eyes widened. In his 15 years as a hunter, he had never heard of a Class 5 species joining the Council. Most came from Class 1 or 2 worlds, places with mild weather, few natural disasters, and limited dangerous wildlife. Class 5 meant the planet itself was a constant threat to life. Extreme gravity, deadly weather, aggressive predators, and dangerous plants, all working together to kill anything that lived there. How could anything intelligent evolve in such conditions? The report included basic information about the planet, called Earth, and its people, humans. They were small compared to most species with no natural armor or claws. They had only 2 arms and 2 legs. Their skin looked soft and easy to tear. By all accounts, they should be weak. But they had survived on a Class 5 world. That made no sense to Cole. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, thousands of representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for a historic event. The first human delegation was about to be officially welcomed into the galactic community. At the center of the massive circular room stood Yuna Kim, the first human diplomat to the council. She was shorter than most beings in the room, with straight black hair cut just above her shoulders. Her simple blue uniform was designed to look formal, but not threatening. Councillor Vex, the ancient leader of the council, towered over her. His long neck bent down so his 3 eyes could meet hers. "Representative Kim," his voice boomed through the hall. "We welcome Earth to our community of worlds. Your journey to reach the stars has been watched with great interest." Yuna bowed slightly. "On behalf of Earth and all humans, we thank you for this welcome. We have much to learn, but also much to share." Across the room, various delegates whispered among themselves. Many had never seen a human before. Some were curious, others concerned. "They look so fragile," one delegate said. "How did they survive on that hell planet?" another wondered. "Do not be fooled by appearances," cautioned an older delegate. "Any species that survives a Class 5 world is dangerous." The whispers continued as Yuna was shown to the Earth delegation's new chambers. She was joined by her small security team, 4 humans who stood quietly behind her, watching everything with careful eyes. In a private meeting room far from the main hall, a group of delegates met in secret. They represented the Macrovian Dominion, a powerful faction that had long controlled trade in the outer systems. "These humans are a threat," said Delegate Zern, slamming his tentacle on the table. "They claim to come in peace, but their history is full of violence. Their own data shows they have fought wars constantly." "What do you suggest?" asked another delegate. "The Council has already accepted them. We eliminate them," Zern said simply. "A tragic accident during their welcome ceremony, before they can establish themselves." "The Council would investigate," a third delegate cautioned. "Not if it's done right," Zern replied. "I know someone who can make any death look like an accident. The best killer in the sector." Cole was surprised to receive a message from the Macrovians. They usually handled their own dirty work, but the payment they offered was too good to refuse, enough credits to buy his own moon. "You want me to eliminate an entire delegation?" Cole asked, looking at the Macrovian on his screen. Just the humans, Zern replied. All 5 of them. During the welcome ceremony tomorrow. Can you do it? Cole studied the images of the humans. They looked easy enough to kill. No natural defenses he could see. I'll need a team, he said finally. These humans may be weak, but there will be security. Whatever you need, Zern said. Just make sure none of them leave that ceremony alive. Cole assembled his best hunters, 12 in total, from 6 different species. Each was a specialist in different killing methods. Together, they had ended the lives of over 300 targets. The plan is simple, Cole told his team as they prepared their weapons. We will attack from different points. The humans will be confused and separated. They have no natural defenses and no experience with our weapons. This will be the easiest job we've ever done. His team nodded in agreement. The bounty was being split 12 ways, but it was still more than most of them made in a year. The welcome ceremony was grand. Delegates from all major worlds presented gifts to the humans. Music played from anti-gravity floating instruments. Food and drink from 100 worlds was served. Yuna Kim stood in the center of it all, smiling and thanking each delegate personally. Her security team remained close, but relaxed enough not to cause concern. One of her guards, Jin Park, kept scanning the room. Something felt wrong. He had been a soldier before joining the diplomatic service, and his instincts were rarely wrong. Diplomat Kim, he said quietly. I don't like this setup. Too many hidden corners. Yuna nodded slightly. Stay alert, but don't show concern. We don't want to seem paranoid on our first day. Jin touched the small device in his ear. All team members full alert, code yellow. The other human guards nodded almost imperceptibly. From his hidden position above the main hall, Cole gave the signal to his team. It was time to show the galaxy that even species from Deathworlds could die. What he didn't know was that humans hadn't just survived their deadly planet. They had mastered it. And everything that had tried to kill them over thousands of years had only made them stronger. As Cole's assassins moved into position, they were about to learn why Deathworlders were the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. The first attack came from above. 2 of Cole's team dropped from the ceiling, weapons ready. They landed silently behind 2 of the human guards. In any normal mission, this would be the moment when their targets died without even knowing what hit them. But what happened next shocked everyone watching. The human guards moved before the attackers even touched the ground. Jin Park spun around with impossible speed, grabbed his attacker's arm and twisted. There was a loud crack, and the assassin fell to the floor screaming in pain. The second human guard ducked under his attacker's blade and struck upward with his fist. The blow caught the assassin under the chin with such force that he flew backward, 5 feet before hitting the ground unconscious. Cole blinked in surprise. This was not possible. How did they know the attack was coming? And that strength, it didn't match their small size at all. All units, attack now, he ordered through his communicator. This was no longer about stealth. They needed to overwhelm the humans with numbers. The grand hall erupted into chaos. Delegates ran in every direction as Cole's remaining team members charged toward the humans. Security alarms blared throughout the building. Yuna Kim stood calmly, in the center of it all. As 2 assassins approached her from different sides, Jin tried to reach her but was blocked by another attacker. Diplomat Kim, Jin shouted, behind you, but Yuna didn't seem worried. As the first assassin lunged at her, she stepped aside with fluid grace. The attacker stumbled past her off balance. Before he could recover, Yuna's hand struck the back of his neck in a precise chop. The assassin collapsed immediately. The second attacker hesitated, confused by what he had just seen. That was a mistake. Yuna moved toward him, her diplomatic smile replaced by focused determination. Her movements were quick and efficient, nothing wasted. 3 rapid strikes later, the assassin joined his partner on the floor. From his position, above, Cole couldn't believe what he was seeing. The small female diplomat, who was supposed to be the easiest target, had just taken down 2 of his best killers without even breaking a sweat. Around the room, the other human guards were showing Similar skills, they moved faster than they should be able to. They seemed to anticipate attacks before they happened. And their strength, it was all wrong. Their thin arms shouldn't be able to throw attackers twice their size across the room. "Retreat," Cole ordered. "Everyone out now." Of his 12-member team, only 3 managed to escape with him. The rest were either unconscious or being held by Council security forces that had finally arrived. "What just happened?" asked one of Cole's team members as they hid in a maintenance tunnel far from the Grand Hall. "Those were not normal beings." "They knew we were coming," said another, nursing a broken arm. "They were ready for us." Cole shook his head. "No, it's something else. Did you see how they moved? How strong they were? Something is very wrong." Pulled out his datapad and began searching for more information about humans. There had to be something they had missed. Back at the council chambers, the human delegation was meeting with council security. The event had been a disaster, but not for the humans. "You handled that impressively," said Chief Security Officer Telv, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "We had no idea the attack was coming." "But you did," he added, looking at Jin Park. "You were ready before they even appeared." "How?" Jin shrugged. "Training and instinct. On Earth, you learn to watch for danger, or you don't survive long." Yuna stepped forward. "The important thing is that no delegates were seriously hurt. The attackers? 9 captured, 3 escaped with their leader," Telv said. "We're tracking them now. I'd like permission to handle this situation the human way," Yuna said carefully. "Send one of our security team to bring them in." Telv looked shocked. 1 person against 4 trained killers? That's suicide. Jin. Park smiled slightly. "With respect, sir, you just saw 5 of us handle 12 of them without any weapons. 1 of us is more than enough." Counselor Vex, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. "The attack was on your delegation, Representative Kim. By our laws, you have the right to pursue justice as you see fit. If you wish to send one of your people, we will authorize it." "Thank you, Counselor," Yuna said with a bow. "Jin, prepare for departure. Find them and bring them back alive if possible." Jin nodded and left the room to prepare. Counselor Vex watched him go, then turned to Yuna. "I must ask, that display of fighting skill, is that normal for humans?" Yuna smiled. "Jin was a soldier before joining diplomatic service. I studied martial arts since childhood. All humans learn basic self-defense. On a world like ours, it's necessary." "And the strength? The speed?" Vex pressed. "Earth has higher gravity than most council worlds," Yuna explained. "Our muscles develop differently. What seems extraordinary to you is quite normal for us." In their hideout, Cole had found what he was looking for. The data wasn't in the official council records, but in scientific studies conducted secretly when humans were first discovered. "Listen to this," he told his remaining team. "Planet Earth. Gravity 1.2 times galactic standard. Atmospheric pressure 1.3 times standard. Temperature variations from 50 to plus 150 degrees in different regions." "That doesn't sound so bad," one of his team said. "It gets worse," Cole continued. "Over 500 major predator species, constant natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, fires. And the humans themselves have fought wars throughout their history, killing millions of their own kind." "So they're savages," another team member said. "No," Cole corrected. "They're survivors. Their bodies, adapted to conditions that would kill most of us in minutes. Their bones are dense, their muscles efficient. They can run for hours without stopping. They can survive injuries that would be fatal to us." He showed them footage from the Grand Hall, focusing on the movements of the human guards and the diplomat. "Look at their reaction time. They sensed the attack before it happened. And look at their faces, they're not even scared. This is normal for them." "So what do we do?" asked the third team member, fear evident in his voice. "We run," Cole said simply. "We get off this station, go somewhere remote. The council won't waste resources hunting us down." "You think they'll send council forces after us? For a failed mission?" Cole looked at his team member with all four of his eyes. They won't send council forces. They'll send a human. And that's much, much worse. Jin Park stepped off the transport onto a small trading station at the edge of council space. He carried only a small bag and wore simple clothes, nothing that marked him as diplomatic security. The station was crowded, filled with beings from dozens of worlds. Many were traders, some were travelers, and others were hiding from something, or someone. It was the perfect place for Cole and his team to disappear. Jin didn't seem concerned by the task ahead of him. One human hunting for deadly assassins through unknown territory might seem impossible to most. But Jin had grown up in the wilderness areas of Earth, where learning to track was the difference between eating and starving, and hunting dangerous prey. That was something humans had perfected over thousands of years. Jin smiled slightly as he began his search. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and they had no idea what was coming for them. Cole woke with a start. Something was wrong. He checked the small room he had rented in the lower levels of the trading station. His 3 remaining team members had each taken separate rooms nearby. It was safer that way. He checked his security. Sensors, nothing. The door was still locked, the window was sealed, but something had woken him. A soft beep came from his communicator. It was Rek, one of his team. Cole. Help. The voice was weak, frightened. Rek, what's happening? Cole asked, suddenly alert. There was no answer, just the sound of something being dragged across the floor. Then silence. Cole tried to contact his other team members. No one answered. He checked the time, middle of the station's night cycle. Most beings would be sleeping. Perfect time for a hunter. He gathered his weapons quickly. His species could see well in darkness, an advantage, he hoped. He unlocked his door cautiously and peered into the dimly lit hallway. Empty. Cole moved silently toward Rek's room. The door was slightly open. He pushed it with one of his forearms, weapon ready in another. The room was empty, but there were signs of a struggle. And on the wall, written in what looked like station fuel, was a simple message. 1 down. Cole felt something he had rarely experienced. Fear. Real, cold fear. Jin Park sat on the floor of his small rented room, examining the items he had taken from the first assassin. The alien had been easy to find. Jin had simply looked for the most nervous person in the busy trading hub. The alien Vrek, according to his identification, was now secured in the cargo hold of a small ship Jin had rented. Unconscious but alive. Jin wasn't interested in killing. These assassins, Yuna had been clear, bring them back alive if possible. But that didn't mean he couldn't use fear. Jin had studied the psychology of different species during his training. Most intelligent beings, no matter their world of origin, feared the unknown. And right now, Jin was making himself the unknown, a shadow that struck without warning. He looked at the station map on his datapad. 2 more team members to find, and then Cole himself. The leader would be the hardest. Cole had survived as a bounty hunter for years because he was smart and careful. Jin smiled. This was actually fun. It reminded him of survival training in Earth's wilderness areas. Except now, he was both the tracker and the predator. Cole gathered his remaining team members in an abandoned storage room. Lax, a tall, thin alien with 6 eyes, kept looking at the door nervously. Doman, a squat, powerful being with rough stone-like skin, stood with his back against the wall. We need to leave this station, Lax said. Now. The next transport isn't until tomorrow, Cole replied. We have to hold out until then. Hold out? Doman growled. Against what? We don't even know what took Rek. We didn't hear a fight. No. One saw anything. It's the human, Cole said. It has to be. The council sent one after us just as I feared. One human? Doman laughed. There are still 3 of us. We're armed. We're killers. Let it come. Cole shook his head. You don't understand. We're not dealing with a normal being. This is a creature that evolved on a world that tries to kill it every day. Its entire existence is built around survival. So is mine, Doman replied, patting the weapon at his side. I've killed 32 beings. One soft human doesn't scare me. It should. Cole said quietly. Jin watched the three assassins from his hiding place in the storage room's ventilation system. Their conversation was easy to hear with the small listening device he had placed earlier. The big one, Doman, would be trouble. Too confident. The thin one, Lax, was properly afraid. Smart. And Cole understood. He had done his research. Jin decided to take Lax next. Increasing Cole's fear would make him more likely to make mistakes. He waited until the three separated. Again. They had decided to stay together in the busy central market area of the station, thinking safety lay in crowds and light. They were wrong. Jin moved through the market casually. Just another visitor. He bought food from a vendor, smiled at a station officer. No one paid any attention to him. He was just a small, seemingly harmless being in simple clothes. He positioned himself near where Lax stood, nervously scanning the crowd. Jin pretended to eat his food while sending a message to the station's control center from a device in his pocket. Seconds later, the lights in the market flickered, then went out completely. Emergency lighting came on, casting long shadows everywhere. In the confusion, Jin moved. Fast, efficient, silent. When the main lights came back on 30 seconds later, Lax was gone. He took Lax, Doman shouted when he and Cole regrouped in a quiet corner of the market. Right in front of everyone, and no one saw anything. Cole's mandibles clicked nervously. Did you see anything? No. The lights went out, and when they came back, Lax was just gone. Doman's tough exterior was cracking. Now he understood. The danger. We need weapons, more weapons, Doman said, his voice rising. We need to set a trap. We need to understand what we're dealing with, Cole interrupted. I've been studying everything I can find about humans. Their planet, their evolution, their capabilities. And? Doman asked. They're persistence predators, Cole explained. Most hunters in the galaxy are ambush predators. They wait, they strike quickly, it's over. Humans are different. On their world, they would chase prey for hours, even days. They can run longer than almost any species. They don't give up. So we kill it first, Doman said simply. You're not listening, Cole hissed. They evolved to track, to hunt, to adapt. They can survive extreme temperatures, go days without water, weeks without food. They can lose a lot of blood and keep fighting. Their bones break and they heal stronger. And their minds, they think differently. They plan, they set traps, they use psychology. Doman was silent for a moment, then asked, What do we do? We change our plan, Cole decided. We don't wait for the transport. We steal a ship now, it's our only chance. Jin sat cross-legged on the floor of his room, eyes closed. Both Rek and Lax were secured in the cargo hold of his rented ship. Neither had been difficult to capture. Both had been so focused on looking for danger that they hadn't noticed it right beside them. But Cole was smarter. He was adapting, changing, tactics. Jin had to respect that. His datapad beeped. It was a message from station security. Someone was trying to access the docking bay controls. Jin smiled. He had anticipated this move. He opened a secure communication channel. Cole, he said calmly. This is Jin Park, Earth Security Forces. You should stop trying to hack the docking bay. It won't work. There was a long pause, then Cole's voice came through. What do you want, human? You know what I want, Jin replied. You tried to kill our diplomatic team. I'm here to bring you back to face justice. You've taken 2 of my team already, Cole said. How about a deal? You can have Doman too. Let me go and it's over. Jin laughed softly. That's not how this works. You have 1 station rotation to surrender. After that, I stop being nice. Nice? Cole sounded genuinely confused. You've been hunting us like animals. Yes, Jin agreed, but you're all still alive. That's me being nice. He ended the communication and stood up, stretching. Night cycle was coming again. It would be a good time to find Doman. The big alien would be easier to spot in emptier corridors. As for Cole, Jin had a feeling the bounty Hunter had one more trick to play. He was too good at his job to give up easily. Cole's plan was desperate, but it might work. The station had a large jungle habitat section, an artificial environment where plants from various worlds were grown. for study and oxygen production. It was a perfect place for an ambush. In the dense foliage, Cole's natural camouflage abilities would give him an advantage. His species had evolved as jungle predators. This was his territory. "The human will expect us to run," he told Doman as they made their way to the jungle section. "Instead, we hunt the hunter." Doman nodded, clutching his largest weapon. "We kill it quickly, no games." "Exactly," Cole agreed. But something was bothering him. This plan made sense. It was logical. It played to their strengths, which meant the human might expect it. As night fell on the artificial jungle, Cole realized something else. While his species was adapted to hunt in jungles, humans had evolved to adapt to any environment. And according to his research, they saw hunting not just as a necessity, but as a sport. They enjoyed the challenge. For the first time in his career, Cole wondered if he had finally met a better hunter than himself. The jungle habitat was hot and humid. Cole moved through the dense plants with practiced ease. His skin had shifted color to match the greens and browns around him. This was the environment his species had evolved to hunt in. Doman followed behind, less graceful but determined. The big alien's stone-like skin made him strong but not quiet. Each step crushed plants beneath his feet. "Move more carefully," Cole whispered. "The human will hear you." "Let him hear," Doman growled. "Let him come to us." Cole shook his head but said nothing more. Their plan was simple: find a good spot for an ambush, wait for the human to enter the jungle, then strike together. Two experienced killers against one human. The odds should be in their favor, but Cole couldn't shake his growing fear. Every instinct told him they were making a mistake. This wasn't a normal hunt. This was something else entirely. Jin Park stood at the entrance to the jungle habitat, breathing deeply. The air was rich with oxygen from the plants. It reminded him of the rainforests back on Earth where he had trained as a young soldier. He knew Cole and Doman were inside, waiting. It was the logical move. Cole's species was adapted for jungle hunting. In there, they thought they had the advantage. Jin smiled to himself. They didn't understand humans at all. He stepped into the jungle, moving silently. Unlike Doman, Jin knew how to place his feet to avoid making noise. He knew how to move with the natural patterns of the environment, becoming part of it rather than fighting against it. He didn't need to see Cole or Doman, he could feel them, sense their presence. Humans had evolved to detect predators before they attacked. It was an instinct that had kept his ancestors alive for thousands of years. Jin took out a small device and placed it on a tree trunk, then another on a different tree 50 feet away, and a third in another location. Small, simple technology, nothing fancy, just tools to help him do what humans did best: adapt and overcome. 3 hours passed. Cole remained perfectly still, hidden among thick vines. Doman was positioned nearby, partially buried in fallen leaves. They had chosen a small clearing as their killing ground. The human would have to cross it to reach the other side of the habitat. But there was no sign of the human. No movement. "No sound, where is he?" Doman whispered through their communicator. "He should be here by now." "Patience," Cole replied. "He's being careful." Another hour passed. Then Cole heard something, a soft beeping sound coming from different directions. He focused his hearing. 3 distinct beeps, forming a triangle around their position. "Traps," he hissed into his communicator. "The human has set traps around us." "What kind of traps?" Doman asked, suddenly nervous. Before Cole could answer, the beeping stopped. Then a new sound filled the jungle, a loud rhythmic thumping that echoed through the trees. It sounded like a large creature moving closer. Heavy footsteps. Coming. Fast. "What is that?" Doman asked, his voice rising with fear. "I don't know," Cole admitted. He had never heard anything like it. Whatever was coming, it was big. And there were more sounds now, rustling leaves, snapping branches all around them. "It's a trick," Cole realized too late. "The devices are making these sounds. He's trying to—" A loud roar came from directly behind Doman. The big alien panicked, jumping up from his hiding place and firing his weapon wildly into the jungle. There was nothing there, just a small device attached to a tree, now smoking from a direct hit. "Doman, stop," Cole shouted. "It's not real." But the damage was done. Their position was revealed. And somewhere in the jungle, the human now knew exactly where they were. Jin watched from the high branches of a tree as Doman fired at the sound generator. The big alien was frightened now, shooting at shadows. Cole was smarter, still hidden. But Jin knew where he was too. The plan had worked perfectly. The sound generators were simple devices that played recordings Jin had made, his own footsteps amplified to sound like a large creature, jungle sounds he had recorded and mixed together. Basic technology. But combined with fear and imagination, they became powerful weapons. Jin had learned this technique during Earth survival training. The mind could be a more dangerous enemy than any physical threat. Now for the final part of his plan. Jin took a small container from his pocket and poured its contents onto the leaves below. The liquid spread quickly, carried by the habitat's artificial rain system. It had no smell that Cole or Doman could detect, but it would do its job. Jin began to move through the trees, circling around behind his targets. "We need to move," Cole told Doman. "We've lost the advantage of surprise." "Move where?" Doman demanded. "The human could be anywhere. He's playing with us." Cole had to agree. This wasn't a normal hunt. The human wasn't trying to kill them quickly. He was using psychological warfare, making them afraid, making them doubt themselves. It was working. Suddenly, Doman began scratching his arms. "Something's wrong," he said. "My skin, it burns." Cole felt it too, a slight burning sensation wherever his skin touched the damp leaves around him. It wasn't painful, just uncomfortable, but it was spreading. "It's some kind of chemical," Cole realized. "In the water. The human has poisoned the environment." "Poison?" Doman was scratching harder now. "Will it kill us?" "I don't think so," Cole said. "It's just another trick, to make us move, to make us careless." But Doman wasn't listening anymore. The burning sensation was getting worse for him. His tough skin was reacting badly to whatever chemical the human had spread. He stood up, fully, exposing himself. "I can't take this," he shouted. "Where are you, human? Face me." His answer came in the form of a small object that flew from the trees and stuck to Doman's chest. Before the big alien could react, a powerful electric charge coursed through his body. He collapsed, twitching, then lay still. Cole froze. He hadn't even seen where the attack came from. The human had taken down Doman, his strongest team member, without even showing himself. For the first time in his life, Cole did something he had never done before. He ran. Jin secured Doman with restraints, checked his vital signs, and administered a mild sedative to keep him unconscious. The alien would be fine. The stun device was designed to incapacitate, not kill. The itching chemical was harmless too, just a mild irritant that Jin had made from plants in the habitat. It wasn't meant to hurt, just to make them uncomfortable and careless. He looked in the direction Cole had fled. The bounty hunter was fast and smart. Jin could follow, but he decided on a different approach. Sometimes the best way to catch prey was to let it tire itself out. Jin activated his communicator. "Station security, this is Jin Park. I need all exits from the jungle habitat sealed. No one in or out without my authorization." "Understood," came the reply. "What about the one you just caught?" "I'll bring him to my ship to join the others," Jin said. "There's still one more to find." Cole reached the edge of the jungle habitat only to find the door sealed. He tried his override codes, nothing worked. He was trapped. For hours, he moved through the jungle, changing positions, never staying in one place too long. The burning sensation on his skin faded, but the fear remained. Every sound made him jump. Every shadow might be the human. He had become the hunted, and he didn't know how to deal with it. Finally, exhausted and desperate, Cole found a small clearing and sat down. He was a bounty hunter, feared throughout 3 star systems. He had killed 57 beings. He could not die hiding in an artificial jungle. "Human," he called out. "I know you can hear me. Let's end this." For a long moment, there was silence. Then a voice came from somewhere above him. "I agree. It's time to end this." Jin Park dropped from the trees, landing softly in front of Cole. He wore simple clothes, no armor, no visible weapons. He looked completely ordinary, and that was the most terrifying thing of all. "How?" Cole asked, his voice barely a whisper. "How did you find so easily? How did you defeat my entire team alone?" Jin studied the alien bounty hunter with calm eyes. "Your mistake was thinking that we're like other species. We're not." "What are you then?" Cole asked. "Survivors," Jin replied simply. "Earth tried to kill us every day for millions of years. Predators faster and stronger than us. Weather that could freeze or burn us within hours. Diseases that attacked our bodies from within. We didn't just survive, we conquered it all." Jin moved closer, and Cole was shocked to realize he wasn't afraid of the four-armed, armor-skinned alien at all. "You evolved to hide in jungles and strike quickly," Jin continued. "A perfect ambush predator. But humans? We evolved to adapt to any environment, to use our minds as weapons, to never give up." "I surrender," Cole said finally. "I won't fight you." Jin nodded. "A wise choice. The diplomat you tried to kill specifically requested we bring you back alive. She wants to talk to you." "Talk?" Cole couldn't hide his surprise. "Why?" "To help you understand," Jin said as he placed restraints on Cole's wrists. "Humans don't want to be feared. We want to be understood, because there's one more thing about us that you should know." "What's that?" Cole asked. Jin smiled slightly. "We're not just good at surviving dangers. We're also very, very good at making friends." 6 months passed since the failed assassination attempt. The Galactic Council had changed in that time. The arrival of humans, the Deathworlders, as many now called them, had shifted the balance of power. Cole sat in a small office on the main council station. He no longer wore the weapons and armor of a bounty hunter. Instead, he had simple clothes and a new title: Special Consultant on Human Affairs. His punishment had surprised him. After his capture, he had expected execution or life imprisonment. Instead, diplomat Yuna Kim had offered him a choice: help the galaxy understand humans or face trial for attempted murder. The choice had been easy. Today, he was meeting with a group of trade representatives who were nervous about dealing with the humans. Cole had become the galaxy's expert on Earth and its people. "Let me be clear," Cole told the gathered aliens. "Humans are not what you think they are. Yes, they come from a death world. Yes, they are physically stronger than they look. But they're not conquerors or killers by nature." A tall, blue-skinned delegate raised a tentacle. "But the stories we've heard, humans surviving in space without protection, regenerating lost limbs, killing with a single touch, surely some must be true." Cole's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Almost none are true. Humans need air just like us. They can't regrow limbs. They're not magical. What makes them different is their adaptability and their endurance." "And their planet really tried to kill them?" asked another delegate. "Every day," Cole confirmed. "Extreme weather, natural disasters, dangerous predators, diseases. Earth is beautiful but deadly. It forced humans to become problem solvers, to work together, to never give up." "So what advice do you have for those of us who will trade with them?" a third delegate asked. Cole thought for a moment before answering. "If you value your life and your business, never mistake human adaptability for weakness. Treat them with respect, be honest. And remember, they survived conditions that would kill any of us in minutes. Not because they're stronger, but because they simply refuse to die." In her expanded office at the council headquarters, Yuna Kim met with a delegation from a distant star system. In the 6 months since the assassination attempt, the human diplomatic team had grown from 5 to 50. Humans were now involved in trade, cultural exchange, scientific research, and security throughout council space. "Your technology is advancing faster than we expected," said the lead delegate, a tall being with crystalline skin. "Just last month, your engineers solved a propulsion problem we've been working on for decades." Yuna smiled politely. Humans have always been good at finding new solutions to old problems. It's in our nature. That's what concerns some members of the council, the delegate said carefully. Your nature, your history shows constant conflict, warfare between your own people. Now you have access to technology that could. What? Yuna asked, her voice still pleasant but with a new edge to it. Some fear you might be a danger to the galactic community, the delegate finished. Yuna leaned forward, her diplomatic smile unchanged. Let me tell you something about humans. Yes, we fought wars, yes, we made terrible mistakes, but we learned from them. We grew. The reason we survived our death world wasn't just physical strength or intelligence. It was our ability to work together. She stood and walked to the window overlooking the vast council chamber below. Look out there. Hundreds of species, all different, all with their own strengths and weaknesses. Humans don't want to conquer that. We want to be part of it. The delegates looked uncertain. Yuna continued. The same creativity that helped us survive on Earth is now helping solve problems across the galaxy. The same determination that kept us alive through ice ages and plagues is now driving us to build something better with all of you. Her voice softened. Yes, we come from a world that tried to kill us, but that didn't make us killers. It made us survivors. And now we want to help everyone else survive too. Jin Park walked through the training area where human security personnel were teaching council forces new techniques. After the assassination attempt, many council members had requested human security advisors. Jin had been promoted to head the new joint security force. The key is to use your opponent's strength against them, Jin explained to a group of trainees from 6 different worlds. Humans aren't the strongest species in the galaxy. We're not the fastest, but we learn to adapt, to find weaknesses, to never give up. A large 4-armed trainee who looked similar to Cole's species asked, Is it true you caught the most feared bounty hunter in the sector without firing a single shot? Jin smiled slightly. I used his expectations against him. He thought I would hunt like his species, direct, aggressive. Instead, I used patience and psychology. And where is this bounty hunter now? Asked another trainee. Working with our diplomatic team, Jin replied. Which brings me to the most important lesson humans learned on Earth. Sometimes making a friend is better than defeating an enemy. The trainees looked confused by this concept. Jin wasn't surprised. Many species in the council had evolved in less dangerous environments where cooperation wasn't as essential as it had been on Earth. Tomorrow we'll practice actual combat techniques, Jin promised. But remember, the best victory is the one where no one has to fight at all. On the edges of known space, a human exploration vessel prepared to go where no council ship had gone before. The region was considered too dangerous. Unpredictable cosmic storms, strange gravity fluctuations, and rumors of hostile, unknown species. Captain Han Minji stood on the bridge, looking at the darkness ahead. Her crew, a mix of humans and aliens who had volunteered for the mission, waited for her orders. Captain, the council has sent one final message, said her communications officer. They're reminding us that this region is classified as extreme danger and they recommend we reconsider our course. Minji smiled. Send back our thanks for their concern, then set course as planned. Her first officer, a tall alien from a world with much lower gravity than Earth, looked worried. Captain, the dangers ahead are very real. We have no idea what's out there. That's precisely why we're going, Zen, she replied. Humans have always pushed boundaries. We've always gone where others said we couldn't or shouldn't go. It's how we survived on Earth, and it's how we'll thrive out here. She turned to address the entire bridge crew. Everyone here volunteered knowing the risks. We come from different worlds, different backgrounds, but we share the same spirit. The desire to discover, to learn, to face the unknown. Minji pressed the ship-wide communication button. All hands prepare for departure. Today we go beyond the edges of known space. What we find there might be dangerous. It might be wonderful. Either way, we face it together. As the ship's engines powered up, an elder council member who had come to observe the historic departure approached Minji. Captain, I must ask, don't your people fear what you might find out there? Minji considered the question carefully before answering. Of course we do, she said. Fear is natural, but humans learned long ago that fear can either stop you or push you forward. We choose to let it push us forward. The council member shook, his head in amazement. That attitude is why many species still don't understand humans. Understanding takes time, Minji said, but we have plenty of that ahead of us. The ship broke free from the station's gravity and accelerated toward the darkness beyond. On the bridge display, a message from Earth appeared. Explore, discover, connect. It was the new motto of human space exploration. Not conquering, not dominating, but reaching out with the same determination that had helped them survive their death world. As stars streaked past the viewports, Minji thought about how far humans had come, from struggling to survive on their harsh planet to crossing the stars. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous, but so had Earth been. And if there was one thing humans did well, it was turning dangerous places into home. Course laid in, Captain, reported the navigator. Into the unknown, Minji nodded. Full speed ahead, she ordered. The ship leaped forward into the darkness, carrying with it the unbreakable spirit of a species that had refused to be defeated by their own world, and now faced the universe with the same determination. Behind them, the Galactic Council watched with a mixture of worry and admiration. The Deathworlders were on the move, and the galaxy would never be the same again. End of story.